Ever since the WGA and SAG strikes ended last year, everyone who works in the film and television industries here in Los Angeles is terrified that AI and virtual production are coming for their jobs. You know what? They're probably right. With those frightening facts staring me coldly in the face, threatening my very future as a film and television professional, I'm going to do an experiment. I'm going to make a new film with a tiny crew utilizing virtual production for the whole thing. And then I'm going to attempt to use AI to do as much of the post production as possible. Now, I got to clarify. My goal here is to make something good and watchable and not just use these tools for the sake of using them. So, if and when they fail me, I reserve the right to revert to traditional techniques to get things done. Also, I'm not using AI to write the script. That's all just coming from my old school analog brain. Maybe I'll try another one of these, having AI write the script, but for now, I'm just going to take baby steps and relegate the robots to the less critical roles. Okay, so over the past few months since I got laid off, I've immersed myself in the world of virtual production. Now, for those of you who don't work and live in Hollywood and you haven't been bombarded with that term ever since the first season of Mandalorian, virtual production in its simplest form replaces real sets and locations with computer-generated versions of them. Now, I realize that doesn't sound all that revolutionary since blue and green screen technology has allowed for that kind of thing for decades. And while this is certainly true, the novel thing about virtual production is that it uses camera tracking combined with a real-time game engine to create CG environments that respond in real time to camera movements and can even provide interactive lighting when they're displayed on LED volumes mounted on the walls of a soundstage. Again, this all happens in real time now. You see the results immediately on set without the endless render times that typically slow down 3D VFX. So I got my start in virtual production by really just buying myself a souped up gaming PC with a monster GPU and a video capture card. Then I built a virtual production rig around my Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K that I already had. But instead of buying a dedicated camera tracking system, I'm using a brand new system that uses an iPhone in conjunction with a digital cinema camera to make high quality virtual production accessible on a budget. All the tracking is done in the phone. So you don't need an expensive dedicated tracking system with multiple moving parts. And this thing works incredibly well. I also recently built a small green screen stage in my garage. So if you're like me and you can't afford to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars or even millions on LED walls to mount on your soundstage, it's also possible to do this using a green screen. Now, you don't get the interactive lighting, but you can broadcast it all to a monitor to see the camera movements and to light the set to make sure everything matches. So it's still pretty groundbreaking. Let's talk about AI, the post-production part. So the software that I use for post is DaVinci Resolve. It's already got a bunch of AI built into it. On this latest release, they've really gone for it and added a bunch of new things. The big one that I've been using for a while is called Magic Mask. It's a rotoscoping tool that basically makes what used to take hours to rotoscope something can happen usually in a matter of seconds. It's ridiculous. I can't even imagine going back to the way we used to do rotoscoping. But this time, I'm going to keep using that, of course, but I'm also going to really dig in and use the new tools, the new AI tools that are there for color and for sound mixing. So that's going to be new. I haven't really tried that, but we're going to see. I'm basically going to try to color this movie and mix the sound using AI. Okay, so now I got to go make my movie, but I want to clarify one other thing. I'm not making a feature. I'm not even really making it short. This is what I'm going to call a micro movie. It's going to be like 3 minutes long. And when I'm done, I'm going to upload it here to YouTube, and then I'm also going to make a separate video discussing my experience using virtual production and AI to make the whole thing. Before I go, though, I got to say something. As someone who's been a working professional in Hollywood for longer than, honestly, I really like to admit, I got to confess that I feel more than a little ambivalent about this experiment. The recently reinvigorated indie filmmaker in me is thrilled by what these new technologies can provide to filmmakers with limited resources like me. But the old pro in me that's built a career in this business and has a mortgage and a son in college and many friends with the same situation, that guy's terrified. I'll be back soon with my new microfilm and an in-depth report on my experience making it with these new tools and techniques. Stay tuned.